I met a man who claimed to be the version of me who never gave up, but was he telling the truth? I was staring at the bottom of a lukewarm coffee cup in a dingy diner, wondering if anyone would notice if I just stopped trying, when a man who looked exactly like me, only 10 years older and 1,000 times more alive, sat down across from me and told me he was the version of me who didn't quit. At 28, I was a shell of myself, living in a studio apartment that smelled like damp laundry and failed dreams, convinced that the world had simply moved on without me. My name is Silas, and back then, I was one bad day away from letting go of everything. I had lost my business, my confidence, and my sense of direction. Then, there he was. He called himself Old Silas, but he was 38, sharp-eyed, and wore a suit that probably cost more than my entire life's savings. He didn't use a time machine or a magic portal, he just sat there with a calm gravity that made the air feel heavy. He knew everything. He knew about the scar on my left knee from when I fell off a bike at 6. He knew about the letter I had hidden under my mattress, the one I wrote to my father but never sent. He knew the exact moment I started believing I wasn't good enough. If you were sitting face to face with a version of yourself who had everything you ever wanted, would you feel inspired or absolutely crushed by the comparison? He didn't talk like a motivational speaker. He spoke with the weary kindness of someone who had survived a war. He told me that in his timeline, when the business failed, he didn't retreat into his apartment for 6 months. He told me that when the girl I loved, Elena, left at 26, he didn't stop believing in people. He chose to stay in the game. I looked at my hands, which were shaking. I was messy, tired, and bitter. He was composed, wealthy, and radiated a peace that I couldn't even imagine. He told me that the only difference between us wasn't luck or talent, it was the decision to stay, one more day, in the struggle. Have you ever felt like you were just away from breaking for good, or do you believe you have a hidden reserve of strength you haven't tapped into yet? He explained that for him, the failure wasn't a dead end, it was a pivot. He had used the last of his savings to buy a lawnmower instead of a bottle of whiskey. He had started small, stayed consistent, and ignored the voices telling him he was a loser. The weirdest part was that the diner staff didn't seem to see him. When the waitress came by, she only looked at me. It made me wonder if I was finally losing my mind. But then he reached across the table and handed me a coin, a rare, vintage piece I had lost when I was 10. I felt the cold metal in my palm. It was real. He told me that he wasn't there to give me money or a winning lottery ticket. He was there because he could feel me, fading, from the world. He said that if I gave up now, the version of him would cease to exist, and I would become a different kind of ghost. He looked me dead in the eye and said that the most dangerous lie we ever tell ourselves is that we have run out of time. Would you change your entire life based on a hallucination, if it was the only thing giving you hope? After he left, or vanished, I still don't know which, I sat in that booth for 3 hours. I realized that I had been waiting for a hero to save me, not realizing that I was the only person capable of being that hero. I looked at the coin in my hand. It was a reminder that even things we think are lost forever can come back if we keep looking. I didn't become a millionaire overnight. I didn't get Elena back. But I did get out of bed the next morning. I started a small cleaning service. I started talking to people again. I stopped treating my failures like scars and started treating them like armor. The lesson I learned from that other me wasn't about wealth. It was about the incredible power of human agency. We think our lives are written in stone, but they are written in pencil, and we hold the eraser. I realized that the successful version of me was always there, waiting for me to catch up to him through effort and patience. Today, I'm 38. I look in the mirror, and I see the man from the diner. I have the peace he had. I have the life he described. And sometimes, when I'm feeling particularly strong, I find myself sitting in a quiet place, wondering if there's a 28-year-old version of me somewhere out there who needs a reminder to stay in the fight. Do you believe that your future self is rooting for you right now, or do you feel like you're drifting through life without a map? I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a moment where you felt like your destiny was trying to speak to you? What did it say? Let's talk about it in the comments. If this story helped you find a little bit of that one more day energy, please like, share, and subscribe. You're closer to that better version of yourself than you think.